The rail train, containing nearly 8 miles of continuous welded rail, located in front of the Main Street station in Brunswick, the result of a $35 million grant from the FRA to NEPRA, which will fund Downeaster expansion from Portland to Freeport to Brunswick.
Behind me is an awesome, and I'll use the precise English word, awesome train to launch a very awesome project. So let's welcome the train. Let's welcome the start of this project. Thank you.
Wayne Davis, chairman of TrainRiders Northeast, was justifiably proud of his organization's involvement in the Downeaster and its expansion to Brunswick.
It's a special pleasure for me to be here today representing the 1,300 members of TrainRiders Northeast, the 90,000 Maine citizens who signed our Passenger Rail Service Act petitions in 1989, as well as the 3 million passengers who have ridden the Downeaster since its 2001 inaugural. Today's event is another milestone on our quest to provide transportation choices as well as significant economic benefits, including jobs, for the entire region. Everyone, including PanAm, NEPRA, Amtrak, the Maine Department of Transportation, the FRA, the Congressional Delegation, Governor Baldacci, state and local officials, and last but not least, TrainRiders. We've all worked hard to make today possible. We thank you for your willingness to take up an effort that for years many dismissed as pointless, a romantic trip and a foolish attempt to restore nostalgia. But the fact is that it all started with Maine citizens organized by TrainRiders who orchestrated the passage of the first citizen-initiated bill in Maine's history. At its 2001 inaugural run, Governor King called the Downeaster the People's Train, and TrainRiders Northeast continues to promote rail expansion and improvements, and we hope that many of you will take one of our membership brochures on the table over there and join us to help achieve the remainder of the people's goals set out in 1989. We look forward to riding with you on Maine's expanded rail system. Thank you.
Governor Baldacci, an important friend of passenger rail in Maine, celebrated the accomplishment.
This is showing them with determination. And Wayne, for the TrainRiders and all of the people that work together throughout the state of Maine to hold people accountable and their feet to the fire, this is a day for them to believe that it can happen. It can happen here in Maine, and this is just the beginning of some other great opportunities. So congratulations to all of you. It's a big day in the state of Maine. Congratulations.
FRA Administrator Joseph Szabo complimented Maine's achievement.
In January, President Obama announced that Maine had been awarded $35 million in American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds, and that the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority was to receive those dollars. And less than 6 months later, we're able to allocate those funds to Maine here for this project. So today, on behalf of the President of the United States and the Secretary of Transportation, I'm honored to be here to speak at Brunswick's official groundbreaking. Today's groundbreaking is noteworthy not only because it marks the use of $35 million in our funding distributed here to Maine for this project, but also because this state has demonstrated such a significant understanding of the process that is necessary to expand rail. And I think those that spoke before made that very, very clear. Maine sets the example for other states. And that's why you're going to be the very first of the ARA rail projects to put rail into the ground. And we're proud to be able to work with a state government that is as dedicated to rail as we are. Thank you very much, and just congratulations to everybody.
PanAm President David Fink got down to business.
We will deliver a project like we delivered NEPRA 1 and the other projects that will be on budget and on time and done with our labor. A lot of Maine labor and a lot of people that are here today will make that happen. Okay, I thank you very much, and I'd like to ask the governor to come up, and if he will say a few simple words, we can kind of get the rail train show on the road.
Joe, get up here.
Okay.
Mighty, get up
All
there.
right.
We're going to say
Okay.
this as a group. And our
All right.
congressional delegate, everybody here stand up.
It's in big letters, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody say Engine
Engine
516,
516,
okay to
to
go
go
ahead.
And so the rail train began rolling out the continuous welded rail, a major part of the improvement of the PanAm right-of-way between Brunswick and Portland. The mechanical John Henrys began their work, pulling out old ties, and inserting new ties without breaking a sweat. Then the spikes were inserted and quickly driven into the new ties. The honored guests boarded a PanAm train and headed off to Freeport as the celebration continued. Next up, a Downeaster passenger train on these tracks in 2012. That was 2010. It's now May of 2011, and economic growth continues around the station.
Hello, my name is Michael Line, and I work with JHR Development, and I am the project manager for the entire Brunswick Station project. This is a mixed-use development that incorporates 130,000 square feet of office, retail, residential, and a hotel property. And it's all centered around a train station that the town of Brunswick has outfitted and the Brunswick Downtown Association manages in anticipation of the arrival of the Downeaster in 2012. Inside the visitor center behind me, as I've mentioned, it's a space managed by the Brunswick Downtown Association, but it is also the ticketing space for the Maine Eastern train. Concord is running several buses through here a day. The Brunswick Explorer is a newly formed local bus service that runs hybrid buses, prearranged route through town. I've actually just recently entered into an agreement with Enterprise Rental Car to rent vehicles out of this location when the Downeaster does arrive. Behind me is the new Inn at Brunswick Station, which is a 52-room inn which will be full service and scheduled to open in the beginning of July, managed by a Maine firm, the Olympia Companies, Olympia Hotel Management, and owned by JHR Development. It will really be a link between the Bowdoin College campus, which sits just beyond the structure, and then the downtown.
Since August of 2010, NEPRA has provided federal funding for PanAm's rehab work along the 35 miles of track between Brunswick and Portland. With improved weather, PanAm crews are back on the line.
What we're doing today is building a panel which will, once we complete the panel, at a later time we will dig out the existing track in this crossing and place this new material, new panel in the crossing. Following the insert of the panel, the track will be lined and the ends welded, and it'll be basically a completely renewed crossing panel. There are 30 or so crossings on this project, including the main line here and the Brunswick branch itself. Most of the rail is complete. The new rail is completely installed. We have this spring some rail to install yet, and then we'll start on the mechanized tie job, inserting the new ties.
We've got a construction crew that is tasked with upgrading all the grade crossings through the Portland corridor. We are at Riverside Street in Portland, and they're replacing the gate arms, the gate lights, all of the incandescent fixtures are being replaced with 12-inch LEDs, flashing light units. We're replacing the mechanical bells with electronic bells, and we're also going to be upgrading all of the battery systems that power the crossing, and we'll be installing video monitoring at every crossing through the corridor and all along the project. Part of the other upgrades that we're doing is we're interconnecting all the crossings with the signal system so that we can monitor the condition of every crossing from our operations center in Billerica, another added safety feature.
The operation you're seeing here is dumping stone ballast onto the railroad tracks. From the hopper cars, we typically average 4 to 5, maybe 6 cars per mile. And this stone comes from our quarry up in Emden, Maine. Following this operation, the stone will be smoothed out and plowed into a nice pattern, and leaving all the ties and so forth clear, visible for inspection. And we also will run a tamper and a tamper to smooth out the track as part of the process.
The work is now accelerating to connect Portland through Freeport to Brunswick. This steel highway is already bringing new jobs to the area. Partners in the expansion, NEPRA, PanAm Railways, the US DOT and the FRA, Maine DOT, and TrainRiders Northeast, expanding Amtrak Downeaster service in Maine.